Man. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Everybody, I'm Preacher Mars, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show, coming to you again the first Wednesday of 2025. Hope everybody had a good Christmas holiday. I hope you had a good New Year's holiday. I know my neighbors, shout out to my neighbors, kept me up all night long shooting those fireworks. I mean, come on, man, spend your money on something else. And on top of that, it should be said that, listen, I'm not complaining. All I'm saying is, sometimes fireworks are cool, but people want to go to sleep. Sometimes you got to get your rest to head into the new year. That's all I'm saying. Special note before we get started, I want everybody, please send all your heartfelt duas and prayers to my good friend Imam Wardeen Sharif, Imam Wardeen Sharif in New Jersey. Sadly, I was informed that he had a heart attack, which is uh, sad. Not, it's just something you don't really want to deal with, especially during the season. But it happens. So we wish that brother good health, and we hope that he gets back to the space that he wants to be, inshallah. So look, we're going to talk about 2025 is here. I feel like 2025 is, for some reason, it's been here for a minute. I feel like we sleptwalked through 2024. There were so many things going on. We had wars, we had elections, we had all kind of debauchery. Of course, we had good things happen, but this is life. You have good things, you have a lot of bad things happen too. You have a lot of good people, you have a lot of people suspect, or they're bad people too. This is all a part of life. When you go through a process, this is all part of life, and it would behoove all of us to understand that. Let's not get emotional over these 1, 2, 3, 4 incidents in our life, even as traumatic as they could be, because sometimes, when we go through trauma, we don't understand everybody else that goes through trauma around us. How our children see us, how our family members see us. And a lot of times when we're going through something, they're going through something. This year, I didn't make like last year, I didn't make a New Year's resolution. I think my last New Year's resolution was not to make any more New Year's resolutions, because I kind of feel like, in some regard, that, listen, we have a lot of things going on uh, in our purview, and it's so much about being present. I want to say something about intention. It's one of the best things about intention is that when you're really present with your intention, when you're saying things and believing things, and they're in your heart, and you do have a sense of urgency to address these things. Everybody's not the same. Let that be said. Everybody's not the same, and I'm not pointing blame at any. I'm not pointing out anybody, because I think that's the other thing. We got into this societal thing. We like to point people out. We don't want to point them out for good things, bad things. You just simply point people out for being different. We have to learn the art, if you will, of being disagreeable. We have to learn and refine the art of being disagreeable. There are levels to being disagreeable, just like there are levels of being agreeable. In and of that space, as we're in 2025, I feel like we're going to have to hone in on those skills a lot longer, largely because you're dealing with a larger pool of people who are not connected to some of the things that we talk about on the show, some of the things that we talk about religiously, whether you're a Muslim, Christian, Jew. They're not connected to those things. What they're connected to is really, really refined and process level of intellectual hate. And I'm hesitant to put intellectual and hate beside it, but it's really a hate that is devoid of intellect. And what happens is you create these puddles of people who, for lack of a better word, feel as though the power that they have, hear me now, the power that they have lies largely in the fact that they don't want to know about you. That the knowledge is that they don't know anything about you. And the power is the less they know about you, then the more empowered that they feel. We're going to be talking about that today here on the Shout Out Show. I see we got my family in. I'm going to try and get this Instagram up. Sister Tana is not here today. She's taking a well-deserved day off. In fact, all praise to Sister Satana, who's keeping me abreast of Imam Sharif and his health issues. Alhamdulillah, he is doing better. He's cognizant. He's up. So, these are good things. So, listen, we're going to go ahead and turn around and get our show going. I thank everybody for being here, and we will be, inshallah, right back. All right, so this is the new year. Let me get right into our shout out family. Of course, we shout out Mary Moss, better known as Mama San. Her thing is Happy New Year to our SOS family. Stay blessed throughout this year. Thank you so much, Mom. We need it. That's the one thing about 2000 or 2025. We really need to focus on being increasing our capacity to be blessed and to give blessings. I think that's one thing I really like. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. My mom is making an amazing recovery, so please keep your duas for her. She's doing much better too. Um, uh, 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 Big brother Bilal Salahuddin and his queen sister Sonia Dalton Salahuddin. Thank you so much for joining us. The first Wednesday of 2025. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Thank everybody in the Shout Out family, man. Thank you guys for supporting for so many years. We appreciate you. And my little brother, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my main man JT. He's on the mend too, healing as well. Good to see my brother, and hope to see him soon when I get out to Milwaukee. Thank you so much for tuning in. One of our day ones, brother Altar for Sheep. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brother. Good to see you in the house, Mr. 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down, a Canadian envoy to the show. And my other partner in crime on the north side, the North American side of the game, my main man, Adam Khan. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, I remember the last time we talked, everybody. I started something, and it's 12 things Muslims need to do during the Trump administration. I might get to one of those today, but I don't want to take up too much time. People actually want you to enjoy your New Year's Day because we're going to be right back in the right. This a week from now, we're going to be right back in the right race, trying to figure out how to pay our bills and our kids and wives and husbands and all that type of stuff. Just trying to figure out life. It's interesting because here in the States, there is a quotient now that I begin to feel that there is a congealing of thought that the hypocrisy, that criminal attitude, criminal activity, criminal attitude, the overt self-indulgence that we saw in the political process, somehow I feel like it's going to cave in on itself. Like sometimes people engage excess so much that when they get it, they can't. There's like somebody who said, I want all the money in the world. To put themselves in the room. I want all the money in the world. That's what they say. And everybody gives them all the money in the world, but they're in the corner and they can't get out of the room. Now the money is a hindrance. I kind of feel like this is the year for spiritual and moral correctness. That's what I feel like. I feel like things are so off kilter now that even the people who don't indulge in spiritual correctness and morality will look at themselves in the mirror and go, "Damn, that's me." I mean, I've had an opportunity to go out to some comedy clubs, and I normally don't go out because I don't drink. That's one of the reasons. That was one of the great things about being a Muslim comedian and us having our own venues. Didn't have to do with alcohol. But we did a show, myself, Musa the comedian, Yasmin Al-Hadi, Nadir Pierre, Usman Habib. There was another brother from Philly. We did a show in Austin, Texas, at a place called Capital City Comedy Club. It's funny because the last time I did that club, I was with George Lopez many, many years ago. It was a dive. It was a dump. Okay, it is what it is in a strip mall. But it was interesting to be in the bar and revisit some of the emotions that I had as a Muslim working in the bar, as a Muslim telling the jokes. In many regards, trying to hold on to my deen, but don't hold on to it. I didn't want to hold on to it tight enough. I didn't want to share. I didn't want to share it with people. You know what I mean? Like if people ask me a question why I don't drink, this is the reason why. And it's not about I'm better than you or anything like that. It is a methodology. It is a logical processing of I don't do this because of that. And I think something is in the air now. We begin to get to this point where we're not going to do this because of that. Somebody's predicting that there's going to be a massive split between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. That's not really hard to call, but I think the thing is going to be interesting because both of those guys can't be bad in the same space. Like if you understand really, really, really deep criminals don't trust one another. They can't be in the same space at the same time. And I kind of feel like maybe this is the year, particularly for Muslims. This is the year you shut up, you talk less, and you do more. This is a year that we talk less and do more. You have to understand that the process of engagement, when it works, is that somebody wants to be engaged. And putting out all this energy and effort out into the stratosphere to, interfaith, all that stuff, we're not doing interfaith work. That our Muslim communities are raggedy, fractured, disjointed, and to the effect whereby people are growing up, our children are growing up thinking this is just the way we are. That there's no proud tradition, there's no spiritual hierarchy in the context is how we frame good moral human behavior. We turn out children that are looking at us going, and this is not to say we're perfect. This is not to say I'm perfect and you perfect. This is to say we're human, but there is another calibration of being human, which is we're responsibly human. We're accountably human. We are consistently human. We are, I want to say, respectfully and fearfully human. Because the condition of humanity has so much to do with intentionality. Let me explain to you as a comedian. Maybe this makes sense. When I walk on the stage, they have this term called read the room. I learned to read the room years ago. I learned to read intent. So when I walk on stage, I'm not reading the room per se. I can look at the audience and I can read intent in those chairs and those seats. You can see who came out to laugh. You can see who came out to get relief. You can see who's pained. You can see who doesn't have a care in the world. You can pick all of that up in the first 2 minutes when you walk the show. And when you're doing jokes, you try to find the middle of the room, but sometimes you can't find the middle of the room. Sometimes you have to go here because you got to pull the room and those who are at the, let's say that the lowest common denominator of laughing that night, you got to pull them over the finish line before everybody else is alive. That it is a universal chorus that we're trying to achieve. And in that universal chorus, we, for lack of a better word, brand ourselves as folks who are responsible for hurting good feelings. We are responsible for shepherding good feelings. The best laugh, if you will, is not the one you hear. The best laugh is not the one you hear. The best laugh is this right here. When I connected with you and you're thinking about it, yeah. You can laugh if you want to, but I get them, yeah. We'll give a shout out to Brother Eric. South Kakalaki, Walaikum Assalam for Tula Bakatu. My sister Ree, how you doing? Back from Michigan? Well, Happy New Year either way. Assalamu alaikum for Tula Bakatu to you and your family. But I bring this up. Yeah, good sister Aika, Walaikum Assalam for Tula Bakatu. All the way from Melbourne. How you doing, sister? Good to see you in the house. Now, I bring all these things up because 2025 is kind of going to reveal what we were lacking in 2024. So in some regards, things that happened here in the United States, around the world, we lacked a particular type of resolve. We had a response, but it wasn't necessarily resolve. Resolve on the way to resolution, right? we're going to look and treat each other a lot differently than we did in 2024. You know, in my immediate community, I just saw where people were very, very disjointed, and the trust and the adab, the etiquette of disagreeing was not there. So what I'm hoping this year, and what I hope many of you hope, is that we have a situation scenario where folks are actually going to take the time to talk to one another, not argue, but talk to one another and talk less. That are communities that talk about doing things, that space, that time, that capacity needs to be a lot more focused, and the time to talk about it needs to be a lot more condensed, and the time to do something needs to be a lot more expanded. I'm talking about schools. I'm talking about, oh, Sister Ree got in today. Alhamdulillah. I'm talking about schools. I'm talking about our job opportunities. I'm talking about our communities. You know, one of the things I had on 12 things Muslims need to do in the Trump administration. Number 11 was stop acting like people who don't like you suddenly will. Okay? Stop acting like people who suddenly don't like you suddenly will. This actually, I want to revisit. I was just watching a movie on BT, Selma, right? And the interesting thing about Selma was, the understanding, undergirding of nonviolent resistance and things like that. And yeah, it was a Quaker movement, Bayard Rustin, all that type of stuff. Extremely effective. But at some point in time, people believe that if you're not going to fight, it's because you can't fight. And people believe that if you continue to garner, you try to continue to garner their respect or their well wishes, they're not going to give you respect. They just feel like, well, this person is going to continue. Why should I continue and continue to treat them the way I've been treating them? Right? So that wellspring is like, you know what? These type of people, and I don't want to be mean, I want to be as positive as I can, but I've learned in life that these people are meant to be left alone. That I'm not here to make you happy. I'm here to make you comfortable. By doing so, I've made myself less happy and I made myself uncomfortable. So look, we're gonna be back. I'm gonna take a quick break. You guys don't move. See you in just a moment.
We just need help.
Imagine if there wasn't an olive branch. Muslim Family Services at your command. The people who help people have to say, we need your donations, don't delay. We all have struggles from time to time, but leaders dedicated is what you find. Before another person sheds a tear, support Olive Branch, you don't have to fear. Olive Branch Muslim Family Services. Action you can see, compassion you can feel. Sing it with me. Ooh. Ooh.
Want to give a shout out to board member, one of my board members on Olive Branch Muslim Family Services, Sister Fatima Mueddin. Her daughter got married, and they had a soiree, man. It looked like the Indian Pakistani version of Coming to America. All they needed was elephants up in that place. But but they had a really nice time, and it was a nice family event. Glad I could, go support, witness, whatever you want to say. But I want to get to this point because I started it last time we were on live. Stop acting like people who don't like you are gonna suddenly will start like. In America, we tend to look at compliance as progress. That's what I said. We tend to look at compliance as progress. That because something legally is in place, that somehow people are really going to accept us, right? The truth is, they're going to resent you more because you've drawn on something, particularly a law, you've drawn on something and changed the law that they were comfortable with, a law that they depended on in many, ways, shapes, and forms, a law in many regards that gave them advantage in particular situations. Um, you can say competitive advantage, social advantage, financial advantage, pick your choice. But what I'm saying is there are these people who look to us to like them. And I'm not saying hate anybody, but they look to us to like them. And I'm saying that the model, the paradigm shift has to be that I don't have to like you. I've got to like me. I've got to look at my interests and understand, do I even want to be engaged with you? You see, because if you can do that, you can make all kinds of different energy. You can make all kinds of networks, all kind of, I want to say, opportunities for yourself because you're not dealing with people who are lesser than your ambitions. Hear what I'm saying? They're not lesser than your ambitions. It's funny because you know what? In America, white supremacy definitely makes sure that however you do it, you don't fail up. You fail down, or you fail completely, but you never fail up. You never get a chance to, when you fail, to learn something, to pull out some type of information and knowledge that, for lack of a better words, makes this thing a lot more palatable for living in the United States. The same thing with other countries around the world. There are governments that make sure groups of people, when you fail down and you stay down. So I would like to say in 2025, if I may say so myself, that maybe this is the year that we not fail up, but we aspire up. Because I think that's the thing that we missed in 2024. We weren't happy with Biden. We weren't happy. Got Sister Salima Abdullah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sister. Thank you so much for joining. But maybe the model this year is that we aspire. And even if you fail, it doesn't matter because we're trying to fail forward. If you have a business that fails, here's the deal. You're not going to fail in one day. You're going to learn something about doing business. And if it succeeds or not, you're going to learn something about how you do business better. It's the law of evolution, brothers and sisters. I can tell a joke. I could have told a joke 7 months ago, and it bombed. But in 7 months from now, I learned the particulars of that joke, the nuances of the joke, to the extent where I tell them it doesn't even sound like what it originally is, but it's funny. You know why? Because I'm looking at the whole aspect of engagement. You know, when I work with an audience, I used to think I need agreeability from my audience. Well, that's the easy part. It's the people who are disagreeable. When you can bring them over to your side, it's cool. But it's not about, like I said before, it's not about liking. I'm not trying to get you to like me. I like me. My mama likes me. My family likes me. My friends like me. What I am trying to do is they get it to the point where my efficacy of how I put product out, how I'm able to connect with my community. I want to make sure that I grow greater and greater efficiency and efficacy in doing it because this is the thing that grows us as a community. 2024, probably the worst scenario for growth in the Muslim movement that I have seen as a Muslim. As a Muslim. Whereby we were co-opted and things like that, and we were yelling at one another and we were calling each other all kind of names, racial names, things like that. People who I love and respect were out of pocket, pursuing what they thought was this goal, but they were pursuing a goal, and you leave your community behind because you know you have these ambitions, if you will. So I pray all of us, you know, maybe this year is a year where we check our ambitions, we align them with what moves all of us forward. The best part about being a comedian is I can say some rawest, truthful stuff, and then I can sit back and go, "I'm just telling jokes." I ain't really told a joke in I don't know since I was 17. We're talking life. We're talking life. I can't go through everything I've gone through. I can't grow up how I grew up and not have a deep love and affinity for my people. And that deep love and affinity for my people pours out in my stand-up. So I'm not a comedian. I'm a communicator in a community that accepts what I'm saying. And if they really love me, they'll accept what I'm saying. But if they really, really love me, some of them will confront me about what I'm saying. They will challenge me about what I'm saying to keep me sharp. And seeing that level of disagreeability, that right there, that's divine. That is something you can't build anywhere. So look, I know we're going to close out here in a few. Next week we're going to go into number 10. I got 12 things Muslims need to do to the Trump administration. Number 10 is going to have to do with the children. Number 10 is going to have to do with your children, because our children are the key. The one thing we lost during the election is we allowed people who do not have our best interests at heart, and this is the Muslims and Latinos, African Americans, the poor. We let people who do not have our best interests at heart, we allow them to talk to our children. And a part of this inculcation, if you will, is they're getting them primed. They are grooming our children to be less successful, to be less inquisitive, to be less effective in communicating. They're grooming our children to be great employees. And everybody knows when you're a great employee, what is it? It's about the work. It's solely about the work. It's never about your creativity, and it darn sure ain't about your welfare. So as we go that out, I just want to say, going into 2025, I want to say thank everybody. Usually at the end of the year, you go, hey, thank you, I appreciate it. Nah, I'm going to start at 2025 at the beginning. I want to thank everybody who started out with me for 2025, who's been with me from 2020. One of the things about the Shout Out Show, and I'm saying this to a very good friend of mine, is it made me sharper. And everybody on the show here, I just want you to know you made me sharper. That when I do different things, I'm able to see the work that many of you put me through. That many of you, when you tune in, it's not pressure, it's a pleasure. It's not pressure, it's a privilege to be able to sit here and do these things. We have over 1,000 shows. We have over 1,000 episodes of the Shout Out Show. I could literally, if I wanted to, I can literally start a fast TV channel just on the Shout Out Show. And if I do, all of you people who are the original Shout Out Show family, I'm going to give you a piece of that fast channel. Yes, I am. Because I just believe that, the education and the opportunities that have been afforded to me, I didn't afford them myself. Every laugh that I'm able to get on stage, every joke that I tell, it's not me. That's somebody who spent time with me. That's my mom. That's my dad. That's my grandma. That's my Aunt Ruth. That's my brother JT. That's Sister Rick. That's Rick. It's all these people. Sister Ika. It's all these people who have contributed to me. Now here's the thing. Not contributing in just a meaningful way, but a very selfless way. And so 2020, I do want it to be about selfless intentions, and that we grow our community and stop letting these people who have no good intention for us talk to us any old way, and definitely they can't talk to our kids. Listen, that's a Shout Out Show. You guys have been amazing. I hope to see you soon. God bless. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you next week. Take care.